past couple of decades, a growing amount of anti-rape campaigns have appeared in the public sphere. Frequently, these public efforts to combat rape have assumed that rape is a fixed reality of women's lives, and that all women are seen as already raped or already rapeable. Most anti-rape campaigns do not suggest strategies which would allow women to take the power to rape out of men's hands. Instead, anti-rape campaigns try to persuade men not to rape, thus reaffirming that rape is a pre-existing reality which men can either support or oppose. This is demonstrated in public service announcements such as this one, and this one. While other recent public service announcements such as this one, and this one, and encourage men to protect women, denying women the ability to protect ourselves while perpetuating ideologies of women as vulnerable and powerless and men as powerful and strong. This concept of men as strong and dangerous and women as weak and in danger is further reproduced in this anti-rape campaign, which encourages men not to use what is assumed to be their inherent strength to hurt their women. Sharon Marcus suggests that because of its socially constructed nature, we can view rape as a process which can be analyzed and undermined as it occurs. In this sense, rape can be understood as a script which is learned and performed by both perpetrator and victim, and shapes both their physical and verbal interactions. Women internalize and recognize themselves in images and narratives of victimization and powerlessness. This same gendering process encourages men to recognize themselves in images and narratives of aggression and violence. Another recent trend in anti-rape campaigns, such as this, is to encourage understandings of penises as scary, dangerous weapons that can cause great bodily harm, instead of as sensitive, delicate, and vulnerably exposed organs they actually are. Additionally, campaigns such as these draw attention to the vagina as the primary area of vulnerability in women. These assertions of the penis as destructive and the vagina as destructible influence both men and women in the performance of the rape script. A large part of what gives the rape script its power to provoke women into a paralyzing fear is the prevailing understanding of women's sexuality as a kind of property, which defines her entire self and on which rests her entire identity. Traditional definitions of rape assumed this by understanding rape as a crime by one man against another man's property. More recently, anti-rape campaigns have encouraged women to see themselves and their sexuality as property belonging to them, thus challenging male ownership, yet still positioning women and their sexuality as property. This is problematic because it is this conception of feminine sexuality as something which can be owned or given, taken, or lost that is the cause of the apocalyptic tone surrounding rape, which leads many to perceive rape as a fate worse than death. In the words of Sharon Marcus, the horror of rape is not that it steals from us, but that it makes us into something that can be taken. Anti-rape campaigns such as this one only encourage the notion of women's sexual purity as an object which can be taken, thus reaffirming rape as a uniquely powerful act which can destroy one's identity. The conception of female sexuality strengthens the hold that rape scripts have over women's daily lives. Anti-rape activists need to understand rape as a narrative, which is thus not an inevitable fact of women's lives, but something that can be rewritten and changed. Here's a few tips for those developing anti-rape campaigns in the future. If an image or a dialogue displays a woman as victimized, sexualized, or objectified, don't use it. Likewise, if it displays men as dominating, strong, or dangerous, don't use it. When you offer up images and dialogue consistent with the rape narrative, you are actually just encouraging adherence to the rape script by reaffirming internalized assumptions about what is natural male and female behavior. Instead, offer up images and dialogues in which women are empowered by effectively sabotaging men's rape attempts with their own power and strength. De-emphasize men's capacity for strength and violence while emphasizing women's capacity to be violent and powerful when needed. Do not assume rape has already happened. Instead, create new narratives where women interrupt and are able to rewrite rape scripts to include themselves as active participants who will fight for their own immediate best interests. Do not assume men have the power to rape by encouraging them not to do it. Instead, persuade women to reject the feminine ideal of passivity and fight back. Do not push for harsher rape legislation. Instead, advocate to remove any legal definitions of rape as unique to the other types of physical assault. If women refuse to see themselves as objects to be taken, but rather act as subjects capable of effectively fighting back for their immediate self-interest, the rape script can be changed and rape can be not only prevented, but eliminated.